What kind of building gains a reputation for not letting people leave alive? Not a prison, not a battlefield, a hotel, a place built for rest, that became a place of endings. In the heart of Los Angeles stands a structure with a history so dark, so persistent, that decades of renovations, rebranding, and ownership changes have never erased its reputation. People checked in, many never checked out. But here's the question that refuses to go away. What is it about this building that keeps drawing tragedy back inside its walls? Tonight, we step inside. Downtown Los Angeles, 1927. The city was expanding, prosperity was rising, and a new hotel opened its doors to travelers seeking opportunity. The Cecil Hotel was elegant for its time, marble lobby, palm trees, sweeping staircases. But location would define its destiny. Within decades, the surrounding area became known as Skid Row, one of the largest concentrations of homelessness and social collapse in America. The hotel adapted. Tourists were replaced by long-term residents. Desperation replaced luxury. In 1931, a guest checked in alone. He was later found dead in his room from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It was recorded as tragedy. But it was only the beginning. Over the following decades, multiple suicides from upper floors. Unexplained deaths inside rooms. Guests found under mysterious circumstances. Patterns emerged. Not clusters. Not coincidences. A reputation. Locals began to whisper something unsettling. Some buildings feel neutral. Some buildings feel welcoming. But this one felt heavy. The event that made the world look. In 2013, one case would bring global attention to the Cecil Hotel. A young traveler arrived in Los Angeles alone. She was curious, observant, documenting her experiences as she moved from place to place. Her name was Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old. She checked into the hotel during a time when it was trying to reshape its image. New visitors were arriving again. The building was no longer seen only as a long-term residence. It was returning, at least partly, to its original purpose, temporary stays for travelers. For a few days, nothing seemed unusual. And then, she vanished. There's a strange thing about places that absorb too much human emotion. They stop feeling like locations, and start feeling like witnesses. By the time Elisa checked in, the hotel had already lived 1,000 lives. Dreams, crimes, desperation, loneliness, everything passed through those narrow hallways like weather. And maybe that's what makes her story feel different. It wasn't just tragic, it felt watched. She arrived alone but not lost. The lobby lights buzzed softly overhead. She smiled politely at the front desk, the kind of small, ordinary interaction that disappears into routine. No one there knew her name would one day be whispered by millions. The room she was assigned sat along one of the older corridors. Carpet worn thin, walls carrying decades of quiet. At least, not yet. The first days passed quietly. She explored the city, posted online, shared pieces of her thoughts like breadcrumbs of her inner world. Then it happened. At first, it was treated like many missing person cases in large cities. Someone traveling alone, no immediate explanation, no clear direction. But then the footage surfaced. The video shows the inside of an elevator. She enters alone. She presses several buttons. She waits. The doors don't close. She steps out, looks down the hallway as if someone was coming. Then moves back inside, but no one appears. She presses more buttons. Her movements become uncertain, like she's reacting to something outside the frame. She hides briefly in the corner. She gestures into empty space. Then she walks out of view. No one else appears. It's not violent footage. Nothing obvious happens. And that's exactly why it unsettled so many people. A moment suspended between cause and outcome. And then she was gone. That footage would become one of the most analyzed mystery clips on the internet. Discovery. Weeks later, hotel guests began complaining about the building's water. Pressure problems. Taste issues. Something wasn't right. Maintenance workers investigated the rooftop tanks. Areas rarely accessed by anyone staying inside the building. Inside one of them, her body was found. The official investigation produced conclusions. Timelines were established, access routes were explained, but public reaction didn't settle into certainty. Because the story wasn't happening in an unknown location. No clear evidence of how she entered. No confirmed external cause. No definitive explanation. Official conclusions existed. Public certainty did not. How did she reach the roof? Access doors were supposed to be locked. Alarm systems should have sounded. How did she enter the tank? The lid was heavy. The climb difficult. The location exposed. How did no one notice anything sooner? Questions stacked like shadows. Answers stayed quiet. The Elisa Lam case did not create the hotel's reputation. It revealed it. Over decades, the Cecil Hotel became linked with violent deaths, long-term disappearances, residents living on the margins of society, a concentration of tragedy disproportionate to a single building. But the building had already earned its reputation long before that day. Decades earlier, during another chapter of its life, it had become an unlikely refuge for people running from everything, including monsters. In the mid-1980s, one of the most feared criminals in American history stayed there during part of his crime spree. Richard Ramirez walked those same corridors, rode those same elevators, returned to the hotel after nights that would later be described in horror. Guests never knew who brushed past them in the hallway. He checked in like any other traveler. The building didn't reject him. Today, the building still stands. Renamed, rebranded, renovated. But history does not vanish with fresh paint. Because the real question was never whether the building was dangerous. The question was always this: do places hold memory? And if they do, how long does it take before memory becomes destiny? Some buildings are forgotten, others are abandoned, but a few refuse to let their stories end.